You can launch a business from your phone, build a brand on Instagram, and make more in a week than some folks do in a month without even punching a clock. So who's still working that old 9-to-5 job? People who are resistant to change or maybe just can't adapt. The future belongs to the flexible, the creative, the hustlers who know how to make technology work for them. The 9-to-5, well, that's a museum piece. The real action is happening outside the box, where freedom and opportunity are just a click away.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. Be careful where you share those back-to-school photos. Online predators can gather personal information from children's photos posted to school websites and social media. Child safety expert Linda Little says she recommends against posting identifying details
about what school they go to, what grade they're in, their age, where the school is located, where they live, making sure there's not any remarkable hallmarks around even. If there's a big statue, they can find out where that statue is.
Little says it's best to post information in private online spaces. Milwaukee Police Association President Alexander Ayala is considering sending a letter to the White House requesting National Guard assistance following a series of street takeovers over Labor Day weekend. Meanwhile, President Trump saying Tuesday it's not if, but when the National Guard will be deployed in Chicago.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker calling the president's comments unhinged.
No, I will not call the president asking him to send troops to Chicago. I've made that clear already.
Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers says National Guard troops are the wrong people to send to Wisconsin. A former corrections supervisor in Racine will now serve time behind bars. 40-year-old Jacqueline Height was sentenced to 18 months in prison after pleading no contest to having an inappropriate sexual relationship with an inmate at the Racine Correctional Institution in 2022. Height also pled guilty to providing the inmate with a cell phone containing photos and messages of their multiple encounters over the span of several months. Prosecutors dismissed 17 other felony sexual assault charges. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I came across a story today that vindicates everything I said, and everybody complained, oh, it'll never happen. We don't do it. So, while the country and investments seem to be doing well, you know, if you got a pension coming or you're on a 401k or 403b and you got the right stuff, you know, diversification and all that jazz, you should be doing pretty decent. However, the bottom line is that communities cannot afford to do some of the things that they're doing. Communities cannot afford to spend money on city services that are going up in cost. Look at the city of Milwaukee. So the union president, God bless him, I know him. I've known him like probably his entire career. Decent guy, became a detective. Now he's the president of the union. However, sometimes we need to recognize that Milwaukee, when you say Milwaukee should be making, you know, more than anybody else, we're a Class A city, blah, 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 blah. I get that. I get it. We're a Class A city, right? Good pay. The tax base that we have doesn't have enough money because the mayor and the common council president and the common council have to run the whole city. So while you try to make it something where it's about we should be making more pay, some of these towns got, you know, 20, 30 cops, 40, 50 cops. So you can spend a decent piece of change and lure people to your little small hub of a town or village because, or small city, because the cost is limited, number one. Number two, the amount that the houses cost, your tax base is pretty good. And if your tax base is pretty decent, that means that you have more money to pay cops. Milwaukee has to pay 2,000 police, I don't know how many fire, and all the staff that go with it. The biggest piece of the budget for the Milwaukee Common Council for the city is police service. The problem is you pay pensions, some people die, some people live longer than they're supposed to, some people die younger. So that kind of keeps your pension base stable. But when you start to run out of money and people start living longer, what you have to do is you have to lower the percentage that you give in your pension. So I think it's now like 62% instead of 70%. So in the long run, you'll have to pay out less, even though tax money is going to still keep going up. You still get I don't know if they still give a pension escalator to everybody. We got it. We get it. So in the long run, if you work hard, get shot at, crash cars, do all sorts of things, you get a decent pension. Enough to live off of, pay or finish paying a mortgage, an apartment, travel, all that stuff. Until it hits the suburbs. And some of our suburbs are in a quandary. The city of West Allis held a public information session before the Common Council meeting on last night to talk about what? Well, West Allis and Wauwatosa are considering merging their fire departments following a study that projects significant financial savings and potential improvements in response times. Now, many people that are outside of Milwaukee, and I don't know if even inside Milwaukee, I'm not sure. Somebody shoot me a text or tell me. 833-212-1017. You can call or text. Are the officers that are in the that are starting now or in the last few years, are they in the state pension plan? Or does Milwaukee still have their own pension? I know they do for retirees, but I wonder. So, West Dallas officials held a public meeting last night where residents could learn more about the merger. City of West Dallas officials said that it's getting more and more expensive to finance the fire department on its own. We had to cut costs everywhere else to maintain fire coverage. We're at a point where there's not much left to cut. And so a 40-page commissioned case by both cities suggests that merging the departments could save each of the cities at least $7 million over 5 years. And the study proposes a single fire chief, streamlined command structure, reducing personnel through attrition without planned layoffs. Station houses would remain open, but savings could be achieved by selling redundant equipment. West Dallas's interim fire chief said that they've been trying to do more with less, which is pretty much everywhere. Joint fire agencies give you an opportunity to do a better job of raising funds, said a consultant with McMahon Associates who spoke at the meeting. Cost increases are going to continue. Joint fire department can better absorb those increases, and that's really what we're talking about. Timeline, 1 to 3 years. They want to start making an implementation plan, so that's what West Dallas Common Council voted to start doing. And the proposal has to pass Wauwatosa Council, and their hearing is next week. If both councils don't agree, the merger is not going to happen. And so you wonder, why are you reading a story from West Dallas and Wauwatosa? Well, glad you asked. This is significant for Milwaukee because with the rising costs, eventually, we're going to have to start merging with some suburbs, with quite possibly the county, got it, in relation to police and fire service. They're the two biggest nuts to crack. We already only have one mental health or health department in the county, which is the city. And so they basically represent the entire county. We've got duplicate services for both the county and the city. And if we would include some suburbs who don't have those resources, it's coming here. Because they don't have the resources. They don't have the money. And so are there resources for older people when you get, 80, 90 years old in like Whitefish Bay? I don't know. I'm just picking a suburb. Or Glendale? Or Oak Creek? We don't know. What we do know is prices for everything are going up. And it's not because of tariffs. It's not because of runaway inflation. It's just normal, everyday, between 1.5% and 2.5% inflation, because it's just natural. Hey, you got a raise coming. You got a 50 cents raise coming after 6 months. You got a $1, $2, $3 raise coming. And so you have to raise your prices. That's just life. As with West Dallas and Wauwatosa, there goes Milwaukee. It's coming. You already see issues with the police. You already see issues with a lack of man and woman power to handle things like street takeovers, traffic, crime, burglaries, homicides, robberies, retail theft. It's only a matter of time. Businesses have started to close. Big box businesses don't even want to come in. What's the place they're trying to bring down to southern suburbs? Buc-ee's? Good luck. At some point, there's a word that we're going to have to embrace in the city of Milwaukee, or we too are going to end up like West Dallas and Wauwatosa, blending our fire department, blending our police department, blending our city services. It's a simple word. Starts with a C. No, it's not that word. Consolidation.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back September 9th.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Texas Rangers.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in September 9th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Truth Nation, Steinhoffels has extended their Labor Day sale, and they're celebrating the start of the Green Bay Packers season. Right now, save 10% off store-wide, or choose 36 months, 0% financing, plus you'll score an $100 Packers gift card when you spend over $19.99. But hurry, this is your last chance for Labor Day savings on all the best mattress brands with up to 60 months, 0% financing. Steinhoffels, proud partner of the Green Bay Packers. Shop in-store or online anytime at steinhoffels.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. American Family Insurance can help protect your dream home for whatever comes next. You can live in your own oasis or your own clubhouse. Whatever you choose, get the right coverage. Save up to 23% by bundling home and auto. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hop off the phone, coalition. I know it's so important. I'm focused on fortress. Yeah, I'm scotching. Show it on the short ditch. I rock Earth Forces.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hey, make sure you tune in to the award-winning 101.7 The Truth's Black Business Give Back this Friday, 3:57 p.m. between the Tori Lowe Show and me, Truth in the Afternoon. I'll be joined by Felicia, owner of Gimme Cake. We'll be discussing what really inspired her to start a Southern-style cake made from scratch business. I've never had a Southern-style cake. So if I go to Atlanta and eat some cake, is it Southern-style? I don't know. Well, you should find out. Because it's made from scratch, and that's why she offers commercial business space to other business owners to use. So tune in this Friday, 3:57, Black Business Give Back Spotlight with Gimme Cake on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I'm telling you. Woo! Make me hungry. 833-212-1017 is the number, and I can't eat a lot of sweets. I got to eat like protein before I do, because otherwise, you know. Hey, what's up, Kwanda? How are you? S.E., good afternoon. Laron, how's everybody on the talk and text line? Well, that's the YouTube chat. Let me check the talk and text line. Let me check. So, here's the deal. First of all, I left it in the car. Black Book Thursday is coming. next Thursday, the 11th of September 11th. You got to remember that day that'll live forever. Thursday, from 4 to 6, we will be covering The Whiteness of Wealth by Dorothy A. Brown. The Whiteness of Wealth. I think you need to be here. We're going to talk about it the entire show. We're going to go through. We're going to do an overview, look at the chapters, talk about it. We get to chop it up. You can call. So you got a week to get the book. Start reading it. You got a week. So if you want to know what the book is all about, let's go there. Let's go there. What's it about? First of all, it's a book by Dorothy A. Brown, The Whiteness of Wealth, How the Tax System Impoverishes Black Americans and How We Can Fix It. Some of her suggestions I agree with. Some of her suggestions, good luck. I think it's pie in the sky. But what it looks at, she's a law professor and tax expert, right? She talks about her personal experience, the research she did to look at how the federal tax code contributes to widening the wealth gap along racial lines. It reinforces structural inequity. So she argues that tax law written without explicit racial language are not race blind in practice because the American tax system is built on assumptions about family structure, work, wealth accumulation that align with white middle class and not black. It disadvantages black households whose economic and social realities often differ due to centuries of racism. So one of the issues is I don't know if we can always blame racism for decisions that people make, because that's what it really comes down to. But there are some policies, marriage penalties, home ownership incentives, in retirement savings, and inheritance rules. She says they disadvantage black taxpayers. But if you know about it, which is something we're going to talk about, but if you know about it, then you can take advantage of those things. Married couples tend to reward. Okay, let me get this right. One of the most striking examples Brown exhibits is the way joint filing for married couples tend to reward single earner households, a structure more common with white families, while penalizing dual earner households, which are more common among black families. So similarly, the tax code heavily rewards home ownership through deductions for mortgage interest and property tax payment. And so you understand that if people have more, and really we're not talking about single parent households, we're talking about two people married and working pay more percentage-wise in tax than making the same amount as one person working who's married. Does that make sense? So if you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad and you both make $100,000, right? Only the stay-at-home dad makes $100,000, I'm saying it wrong. Between the two married people, if one person stays at home and one person works, they pay less in taxes than two people together making the same amount of money. So if you have a stay-at-home partner, husband or wife, and they make $100,000 versus another couple with two people married, but both working, making $50,000 each, totaling $100,000, they pay more in tax. And that's part of those little loophole things that if you don't read, you don't understand it. Lowering your taxes, paying into a 403B or 401k, paying into an individual retirement account that we decide we don't want to do because we're too busy helping family. We're too busy carrying other people. So even when you become, I'm going to say, middle class or upper class or wealthy, you tend to have to carry other people when you could be taking that money and investing it. But why does it happen? It's because that's the culture of black families. That is the way black families operate. Our mentality, our tradition, our custom is to help those in our family less fortunate and carry them. Meanwhile, you're too busy helping them, you're not investing the money. When it would make more sense to help them less, show them how to help themselves, or at least help you help them, and invest. But when you're never taught about the systems, and then you finally get it, and then you finally have it going on, and you got a house, and you got resources, you tend to lose it because we make decisions about buying a house, but then we buy in the wrong community. Or we want to send a kid to a different school. So we send the kid, so we end up moving. Or like we call short selling a house and making little or nothing on it, or even owing more on it so that we can move to a good neighborhood with schools. And so those are some of the things we're going to dive into. We're going to talk about education, paying for education. That was one of the things that was important to me. So my children don't have school loans. And the loans they had was significantly lower than what the average is. And I think the average across America is like $51,000, $55,000. So it's interesting. You got to look at policy. Knowing what to do and what not to do is one thing, but we're going to dive into some of the things, the U.S. tax code, which is considered neutral, but because it was built on what white people believe a family should be, and against the assumption that, well, I don't know, if both of us work, we'll make more money. Yeah, but you only save money when you don't pay taxes. That's the money you need to bring home. It disadvantages black families across marriage, home ownership, retirement. But here's the big one, inheritance. How many people have you heard say, I'm not leaving anything to my kids? I'm not leaving anything. Not recognizing that how do grandkids and nieces and nephews go to school with the cost of education getting higher and higher. So those are some of the things we're going to be looking at on Thursday, September 11th, from 4 to 6, The Whiteness of Wealth. Grab the book, get the book. If you don't like reading, get the audio book. It's on Audible. Make sure you check it out. And that's going to be our Black Book Thursday for the month of September. I'm just saying. 833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, so Wisconsin, students without legal status are dropping out of college. I'm trying to wonder how they got in college. That's a whole other issue. And I wondered, so what does Wisconsin do as it relates to somebody who does not have legal status in the United States of America, but yet is in college? Wonderful. 833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, that's exactly what I'm going to look at. And now with 1017 The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazaga.
It's pretty slow out there. Right now we've got this issue on westbound 94 at 25th Street. The two left lanes blocked with some debris. Some emergency road work going on in that area as well to try and take care of this. Backups into the Marquette. Eastbound 94, we do have an accident right about at 84th Street or just past 84th Street off on the right shoulder. Another accident at 35th Street still being worked on off on the right as well. Southbound 41 backing up from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive, and then you're back on the brakes from Greenfield Avenue all the way down past Beloit Road. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, gradual clearing, breezy, a low of 47 at the lake, 43 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, increasing clouds and a chance for overnight showers, a high of 65. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 1017 The Truth.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Being a caregiver for a family member can be very rewarding. It can be very challenging, too. Besides taking a physical and emotional toll, it can also take a real financial toll, especially if you're paying for home safety upgrades, covering medical expenses, cutting back on hours at your job, or having to leave your job altogether. In some states and in certain situations, you may be eligible to get paid for the care you provide, but finding reliable information about caregiver compensation can be overwhelming and very time-consuming. The AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub can help. It's a free online tool developed with support from United Healthcare, where you can search compensation programs, explore your options, and get answers to frequently asked questions. Find out today if it's possible to be compensated for the time, effort, and care you're providing. Visit paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Hilltoppers are back in action this Friday on the road against the Brookfield Central Lancers. Join our coverage on The Truth starting at 6:30 p.m. with the Hilltoppers pregame show, leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, CJ Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Burghardt Sporting Goods.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do little wiggles. The slate's coming in.
What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
You're just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts, because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. After losing their first matchup against the Phillies 10-8, the Brewers look to take a win in their second game of the series.
Duran brings home the 1-0 pitch, and it's a chopper to third. Couple of hops out to Sosa. Gathers, throws to first in time, and this game is over. Phillies win it 10-8, and they take game one of this three-game series.
The Crew sits at 85-54 on the year, 5 games ahead of the Cubs in the NL Central. NFL football begins Thursday with the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Green Bay Packers begin their season against the Detroit Lions Sunday at 3:25 p.m. Badger football will face Middle Tennessee without their starting quarterback Billy Edwards Saturday at 3 p.m. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, yo, y'all can't stand right here. In his right hand was your man's worst nightmare. Loud enough to burst his right eardrum close range. The game is not only dangerous, but it's most strange. I sell rhymes like dimes. The one who mostly keep cash but brag about the broker time.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. So, I was looking at an article on the Griot that talked about Students without legal status are dropping out or delaying college as states revoke tuition breaks. My question is, why would you have a tuition break for somebody using taxpayer money when they're not citizens? If you're from out of state and you come into Wisconsin to go to school, unless we have a reciprocity deal with you, you pay out-of-state tuition. Like, that's literally how it works. So then, Florida is joining a growing list of states ending tuition waivers for students without legal status as Trump allies challenge programs nationwide. And so it seems like every story is tied to Trump. Nobody gives a flip. When you hear Florida, everybody wants to tie it to Trump, more so DeSantis. But the bottom line is, why are you spending state money and giving? You ain't giving it to us. And then they have these syrupy stories about Carly was hoping to spend her senior year saving her final moments. Well, you had no business going to school on Florida's taxpayers' dime. Because if you got discounted tuition because you're in state, guess what? That means taxpayers are picking up the difference. And that's the problem. I would have a problem if somebody rolled into Wisconsin and decided, hey, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take advantage of in-state tuition, even though I'm not supposed to. And I don't care if your parents pay taxes. And I don't care if you're not legal. In-state tuition and financial aid for green card holders and undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants in Wisconsin cannot qualify for in-state tuition, and in order to be eligible, students typically must prove legal residency in the state. Undocumented immigrants do not have the legal status in the United States, which disqualifies them from receiving in-state tuition benefits in most states, including Wisconsin. But we already know that that's not true. Some states like California have passed laws that allow undocumented immigrants to qualify for in-state tuition under certain conditions, but that is not the case in Wisconsin. It is, now this is from ICSguide.com, USICSguide.com. It is important for undocumented students to research the specific laws and policies in their state regarding in-state tuition. So right now, you can't get a grant, you can't get anything in Wisconsin. Private scholarships, some private organizations and foundations offer scholarships to undocumented students to help cover the cost. But here's a problem. How are you in school taking a seat from someone who lives here, who wants to get in school, but now can't get in school because you took the seat and you're undocumented? That's a problem. Now, I'm not saying throw you out. I'm saying get documented. That's all. Institutional aid. Some colleges are open. These programs may offer financial assistance to cover tuition costs, work-study programs. I don't understand how it can get that far. You need a valid government-issued ID, and that's what California started doing, giving them driver's licenses, giving them ID cards. Here's my thing. If you're working and you're undocumented, give them an ID. They're paying taxes. Give them an ID. If they're working a legitimate job. In Wisconsin, you need proof of residency, utility bill, lease agreement, or letter from an employer verifying employment. You need proof of payment of Wisconsin state taxes. That's pretty easy to do. And then any additional documentation required by a specific educational institution, such as a notarized affidavit of residency. It's just weird to me. It's just bizarre that we would allow people to just roll in, take seats at a university that our kids are trying to get, and we're fighting it more to fight Donald Trump than we are saving money here in the state. It seems like you'd rather pay more in taxes just so you can get rid of Donald Trump. And while I get it, it doesn't make sense for your pocketbook. like, at all. Just weird. Just strange. Is that something you'd want in Wisconsin? 833-212-1017. Would you want Wisconsinites to pick up the tab for undocumented people, undocumented students? They go to elementary school, middle school, high school. Think about that. And we pay for it. That's a problem on one end. On the other end, if they've got parents that are working or they're living with parents here or guardians and they're working, hey, no harm, no foul. I'm okay with that, especially elementary school. I don't think a child should be tarnished or their education squashed because their parents did something wrong. But at a point, they need to be documented. And how do you do that? Is that okay here? Is that something that we would accept here in Wisconsin, should accept here in Wisconsin? Because I'm torn. I'm torn. Going back, Fugatti said a little late, but the new MPD are now on the state pension. Okay. Reginald said those students need to spend the entire summer, move out of the dormitories, and get a friggin' job. Then those students will avoid having been alien. Getting a job doesn't make you a non-alien. I'm just saying. Okay? I don't know. That one guy said they have no right to take local student spots in schools. Well, if they're kids, I don't care. Babies, I don't care. You know, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th through 8th, K-8, I just don't have even high school. I just don't have a problem. You need the education. If you're gonna end up staying here anyway, then you may as well do it. Now, my thing is you need to register yourself with the federal government. If you're here and you're not supposed to be here and you got a regular decent job and all that, instead of throwing all these people out, which makes no sense to me in some cases. Some of them are criminals. You need to get rid of them. But those that are not, come up with a system. You need to register. And you're going to pay an additional 3% in tax because you came here illegally. We need to make up the money that we spent paying for your education. Reginald said that's precisely how I skated around those out-of-state fees. Plus, ROTC is a plus. That one guy said, I'm for universal K1. First of all, there's no K1. That's just stupid to put a kid in anything beyond 5K. It's just dumb. He said, I'm for universal K1 through K12 education. Hey, can I help you with something? You ready? Yeah, we already got it. It's free to go to elementary, middle, and high school. It's called public school. Reginald said, give mom and dad's wallet a breather, get a job. Once you make it to college level, get a job and work both. I don't know. 833-212-1017 is the number. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. You know what? I really don't care what, immigrants do, whether they're illegal. I mean, hey, we got illegal Europeans, and there's no hell being brought to them.
So
if
you're okay paying taxes. You're okay paying for their health care. You're okay paying for their education. You're okay paying for everything.
Well, I think everybody should pay. I think the undocumented Europeans and all the money that's going to Israel. Why, if it's America?
But we're not talking about Israel. We're not talking about that. We're talking about.
Okay, no, listen. We're going to talk about Europeans. Talk about these undocumented whites, and you give them money to them racist Jews. Have a good day.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, Al. There. That's stupid. We're not even talking about that. If we were talking about Jews and Israel, then okay, let's talk about it. That had absolutely nothing to do with it, and it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And most people that think that have no idea what the heck they're talking about. Most of them aren't old enough to understand the history. Most of them only read it through one lens and think they know everything, just like they talk about Hamas and all that other crap. So grow up, learn history from the middle, and stop listening to propaganda and stupidity. Okay, I'm done. Y'all silly. I recant my alien statement. My focus was state residency. Listen, if you have a job, I have no problem. Let's get you legalized, right? Let's get it legalized. Let's also stay on topic. We're talking about here in Wisconsin, people living here undocumented, and we have to make sure the kids got to get education. I'm sorry. You may disagree. I know you may scream and holler. Kids need to be educated K-5 through K-12. Done. I got it. Let's do it. But after that, let's start looking at getting a job. Let's start looking at working your way through, if you're going to work your way through college, all those things, if that's what you're going to do. But we got to fix the undocumented thing for the people who by hook or by crook ended up here, or they may be dreamers and they had nothing to do with it and their parents brought them here and they went through school and all of a sudden they want to go to college and they can't. Let's help out. But let's also make sure that there's some balance and some equity here. You can't say they get in school, but black kids from Milwaukee can't get in school because the seats are taken? Or the grade point? Like, I don't know. Does having a 2.5 grade point average versus a 3.0 grade point average get you in school? And does it matter if you're legal? If you're undocumented with a 3.0, should you get in school over a person whose parents went to school, went to work here, worked, paid taxes, went to school, got a 2.5, and trying to get into college? Should somebody 3.0 take their place? I don't think so. Dimitri, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Hi, Dr. Ken. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good so far. I just wanted to chime in about that, the undocumented people or students. I agree with you 100% on that. They need to have an ID and they need to have a job. You know, it's not fair to the kids or the people who want to go to school, who were born here and who are naturalized citizens in this country. You know, people got to start taking a look at that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and,
I do.
And stop trying to lay the blame on Trump and stop trying to have all of this animosity and hatred towards Trump. And start, paying attention to the nitty-gritty, like the issues that, you be presenting on your show. That's all.
Well, people that don't like Trump have a right to not like Trump. That's neither here nor there. But in this argument, the people arguing are literally the ones paying for it. Like, it's just weird to me. But then they complain that prices are too high, they got to pay too much in tax. Well, you could save some.
Yeah, you can definitely save some, but in the end, in the long run, we're all going to literally, most of us anyway, are going to literally be paying for it if we're not careful and if we're not addressing such issues.
That is true. That is true. All right, thank you much. I appreciate it.
All right, anytime. You have a nice evening.
You too. 833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, are we going to keep talking about it or are we going to go to something new? Hey, you tell me.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. for the debut of Forward Together for Kids, a monthly conversation with real talk about K-12 education in Milwaukee. We will tackle tough issues and make sure you're informed about everything happening from the State House to the schoolhouse that affects kids' education. Brought to you by City Forward Collective, a local nonprofit working to ensure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family. Again, that is Forward Together for Kids this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Immerse yourself in a place where bold ideas are sought after, where all are encouraged to bring their personal flourish. Here, innovation is a way of life. In this city, the beat flows. Together, we're dancing to the rhythm. Forward. Now, it's your turn to grab hold of that energy, where you'll remember not just the meals, the celebrations, or the uncommon coast. What you'll remember is how we made you feel. Come experience Milwaukee, where fresh meets fearless every day.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush, Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered. With fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel, Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more, where your ideas leap to life.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
No hay nadie más que yo. Uno es el número mágico. In vida.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Right now, it is 66 degrees. Tonight's low is 44 degrees. Humidity at 58%. Visibility is about 10 miles an hour. Why is it so cool? Well, the winds are from the northwest at 14 miles an hour. That's probably why. Brendan, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dr. Ken. Thank you for having me. I wanted to offer some comments about immigrants and using taxpayer funds for school.
Yes, sir.
With this, I'm really torn. I think education, particularly in America, is really one of the few pathways to, success that everyone kind of has an option to take advantage of.
Correct.
And I feel some type of way removing that ladder from folks of Hispanic descent who aren't necessarily American citizens.
Well, first of all, I didn't say Hispanic descent. I just said undocumented. That could be anybody.
Immigrants. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. I would say the vast majority of that would likely be filled by folks who are of Hispanic descent. But I would say it seems as though America needs to tighten its belt, particularly when you look at the deficit. And with that said, their needs are kind of on the chopping block. I would argue, why we haven't kind of had this sort of come to Jesus moment decades before. Now we're at a really critical junction, and I don't see this going down without a fight. I see the deployment folks, to quell tensions because of these kinds of things that we're having right now.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Thank you much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I mean, Brandon kind of got it right. I mean, because I'm torn too. This is people come here for an opportunity. They come here for success. They come here for the American dream. Sometimes it's a nightmare, but it's a dream. And so we have to make sure we're able to do that. Let me see if I can squeeze Jay in. I got about a minute. What's going on, Jay?
I was just calling to say that it's really, proof of documentation and all of these things that might be required. But when you show up to your hearing and you get arrested, matter of fact, we have a judge right now who's facing charges because of these facing arrests and how bogus the administration has been for people who are seeking asylum.
But he wasn't in court seeking asylum. He committed a crime.
No, I didn't say. I know, bro. I never said that, though. I never said that. But my view is about all of the people.
Did I say you said it?
My thing is about all the people.
We're not talking about all of the people. No.
You using one case. They're doing this across the country. She's not the only court in which they did that.
Calm down, dude.
You want to cut me off. I get to talk for 3 hours. I get 1 minute.
Maybe. Because you're too busy going off about it.
I don't understand.
Right. Okay.
No, bro, I'm telling you.
Oh, you're telling me now.
That's just telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you what's been happening.
Okay.
Not what you want the reporters to tell you? Who can tell you then? If I can't tell you, who can tell you, brother?
I never said that I didn't know that was happening. You thought you were
that's my question to you. How are they going to get documentation if they're being arrested?
You're being arrested when you commit a crime. That
is not true.
Are you going to let me finish?
Sir,
you going to talk over me? Because you told me to not talk over you. So which one is it going to be? Because you're wasting your minute.
I'm not wasting my time. You're telling non-truth to the people. Why don't you tell the truth?
Tell the truth
about
what?
The truth.
I never said they didn't
about
do it.
The people that people
listen, they weren't
you said all the people.
You're gonna listen. I didn't say all.
The people who've been picked up at court.
I didn't say all.
You just said
I did not.
So they committed a crime.
Okay, thank you. The bottom line is that people that commit a crime, like the guy in Dugan's court, was the one that got arrested. Are they arresting other people? Sure. Are they arresting people that are illegal immigrants and didn't commit crimes? Sure. I agree with that, but you're not hearing me. Bottom line is they said they wanted to go after first the people who committed a crime. That's all. 833-212-1017 is the number. Top 5 at 5 next.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and I am Milwaukee. I take great pride in being a 414 boy and representing the city that I love. The great memories I have of going to Northtown Cinema to see movies with family and friends, to going to Capitol Court to see the Black Santa Claus, this city has helped shape me into the man that I am today, and I pledge to utilize my voice as a way to advocate for you in our community. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back September 9th.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Texas Rangers.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in September 9th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
It's official. July 5th is Tory Lowe Day in the city of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. I am humbled to receive this proclamation from the mayor's office and the county executive's office. To me, this day represents life and purpose and being driven by passion to serve and empower others. It's about being unselfish and answering the call to help those in need and living life with intention. Despite challenges and obstacles, I remain focused on creating real change in my community, county, and state. This recognition isn't about me. It's about the collective efforts of those who supported me along the way. It's about the resilience and determination that defines my journey. As we celebrate this day, I want to leave you with a challenge. What will you do to create positive change in your community? Will you get out and volunteer, mentor, or simply be a support to a friend? Whatever it is, I urge you to take action. Together, we can build a brighter future, one that's filled with hope, opportunity, and empowerment. I am honored to serve, and I'm grateful for this recognition. Let's continue to uplift and support one another, striving for a better tomorrow. So what does Tory Lowe Day mean to me? Let's make a difference together. Let's stay committed to our purpose and keep pushing forward, even in the face of adversity. I'm excited to see the impact we can make, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve alongside such an amazing community. Now, my question is, what does Tory Lowe Day mean to you?
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We are the home of Milwaukee Black Talk. 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. Be careful where you share those back-to-school photos. Online predators can gather personal information from children's photos posted to school websites and social media. Child safety expert Linda Little says she recommends against posting identifying details.
About what school they go to, what grade they're in, their age, where the school is located, where they live, making sure there's not any remarkable hallmarks around even. If there's a big statue, they can find out where that statue is.
Little says it's best to post information in private online spaces. Milwaukee Police Association President Alexander Ayala is considering sending a letter to the White House requesting National Guard assistance following a series of street takeovers over Labor Day weekend. Meanwhile, President Trump saying Tuesday it's not if, but when the National Guard will be deployed in Chicago.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker calling the president's comments unhinged.
No, I will not call the president asking him to send troops to Chicago. I've made that clear already.
Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers says National Guard troops are the wrong people to send to Wisconsin. A former corrections supervisor in Racine will now serve time behind bars. 40-year-old Jacqueline Height was sentenced to 18 months in prison after pleading no contest to having an inappropriate sexual relationship with an inmate at the Racine Correctional Institution in 2022. Height also pled guilty to providing the inmate with a cell phone containing photos and messages of their multiple encounters over the span of several months. Prosecutors dismissed 17 other felony sexual assault charges. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris continues on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. All right, top 5 at 5. Okay, I'm kidding. Winky Blue, here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. You thought I was going to go to it, didn't you?
Well, I would have waited.
I would not do you like that. I would not do you.
But no, I would have waited because then I probably would have had time to lay out what I was going to say. But
you got time now. Listen, you got time now. What's up?
We've got people that are talking about the immigration law, and they really not understanding that, just walking across our borders is not what we're looking at. I hear people talking about, what about the Europeans coming? They sending them back too, because a lot of them come into the country under the visa waiver program. Okay, they get to come. Some of these countries like Europe or even Mexico, they can come in here without a visa. Okay, because they're part of that waiver program, but they got an ETA or something that you do online. You stay up to 90 days. Well, these people come into the country and they never leave back out. And what I want black people to understand is that here in Wisconsin, you only about in Wisconsin, we only got probably 300 and some odd thousand black people in 396,000 or something like that. Blacks, you guys can do the math yourself and go check it out. Blacks in Wisconsin. And what we do, Dr. Ken, is we're so busy bringing people in and wanting people to come in that we give away our resources. And this is the problem. We're giving away our resources, and then we want to complain about it. We want to complain that there's not enough, or we can't do this, we can't get that. Just look at the scrapping industry right now. The world is made of scrap. Nobody should be really broke if they go down and get themselves a license and go and do the right thing and get the scrapping. The Mexicans is taking over the scrapping business, and don't now one of them got a permit. Okay, they ain't got a permit, and I don't see the.
But if they're taking care of themselves, if they're paying tax on when they pay, I don't have a problem with that. They're not committing no crimes. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, well, the thing is this here: they committed a crime when they come into this country, even if they came in on the visa waiver. Hold on, you already done broke a crime already, brother. Go to Mexico and get off into Mexico City and get pulled over. And you ain't got the proper paperwork, man. You liable to wind your butt up in a Mexican jail.
I get that, but we can't argue what happens in Mexico in America. We can only argue about what happens here. I get that they broke in. Listen. I get that they broke in. I get that they committed a crime when they came in. I get all that. They're here. Stop hollering at me. They're here. They've been here for 10, 15, 20 years, have not gotten in trouble. They're here.
That mean they've been on the run for 15 or 20 years.
Most of them ain't running. Okay, time out. First of all, most of them ain't running. They ain't running from nobody. They sitting right there. I've had people where kids have been going to school and dropped off, this years ago, dropped off a young lady only to find out she's undocumented and her parents don't speak English and she's going to school. I can't get mad at that girl. I can't get mad at her parents who came here for whatever reason. They haven't committed any crimes. They haven't. At some point, where's the forgiveness to some people who really haven't done anything wrong and just wanted a good life? Can we at least figure out a way to give them? So you do one thing, that's it.
No, you can't. You can't get. See, as black people in America, Dr. Ken, it's only 46 million of us in the whole round world. Only 46 black Americans, and we got a few in Ireland and maybe Canada that left here and went there, but in the entire world. See, listen, these people are country building. They're nation building. Okay, we are individually building. We build entrepreneurship and all this little stuff. They are nation building. Do you understand that there's only 46 million black Americans in the whole entire world? And guess what? If we do not understand that and get selfish with the stuff that's been handed to us from our ancestors, then we deserve to lose. We deserve to have those people get into Congress, begin to create laws, and they're going to create some laws. Them Arab people, when they get in Congress, good. Once we lose that position in Congress, they're going to put their foot on the black man's throat, Dr. Ken, and they're going to do it to show out in front of the white man to gain his loyalty and trust. But, he's smart. He already know what's going on. He can smell it coming. We, on the other hand, black people, we, on the other hand, are coming up with the idea that the more the merrier. It's not working like that. You ain't got but 46 million. It's 61 million Hispanics right now, and those are the only ones that we can count. Do you understand? Once they get the position in Congress that they can do laws, our little grandkids and great-grandkids, they cooked. Man, the best thing we can do is teach our kids to be selfish with these resources, and you better be selfish with them, because if you don't, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be out because you're so outnumbered. Although everybody likes to be us, we're the hot thing.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Why do then other people have more wealth than us and they're less than us? Why do Asians?
You know why? Because they're nation building.
Okay, we ain't talking about that.
Okay, you asked me a question. No. I'm going to tell you why they got
the answer. That's your answer, but let me ask you a question. Why is it people that seemingly have less come here with less, have smaller communities, but yet thrive better than us? What is it in us? What is it?
You asked me a question.
No, I'm not done.
Go ahead.
What is it in us that causes us not to be able to be successful?
I gave you the answer in the beginning of this dialogue, because these people are nation building. They're building a nation, brother, within this country. We're individually building. We build individually, and nothing is really wrong with that. But when we talk entrepreneurship, we've been taught entrepreneurship wrong. Real entrepreneurship, when you get big, it's a conglomerate of people. You don't do. I mean, it's all right to have a little barbershop, to have a little cleaning service, to have a little plumbing company. That's fine. That's beautiful. Have a little auto mechanic. That's beautiful. But when you decide to do big things, then you must come together as a conglomerate. You see what the Hmongs did up in Warsaw? They started their own banking system. The feds came in and said, y'all can't do this. You can't do this. So they went through the legal channels, and now they got a bank up there in Warsaw. And mostly all your Hmongs around Wisconsin was banking up there with some people in their house, they had a little office thing. But the feds got involved in Warsaw, and the Hmongs now they've got a real institution.
So then how do you do that here in Milwaukee?
Well, Dr. Ken, the answer is right here. It starts with you, and it starts with young people. See, young people got to understand that they cannot give away the resources. I don't want to know what people need to understand.
What is it that needs to be done? Everybody has an idea about.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
No. What do you need to do? Okay, all right. Thank you much.
But how else do you do it then?
I'm done. Okay, thanks.
You keep giving away you want to keep sharing the resources.
Okay, thanks.
See, you can't answer that. Wow. Okay,
I can answer it. I'm just not going to answer it with you. 833-212-1017 is the number. Here, when I ask what to do, an actionable step with a goal so that there's an outcome. Put together X amount of people, raise X amount of money, build X building, business, whatever, and then hire 25 people from the community. That's the goal. Changing people's minds. Well, okay. Changing people's hearts. Nah. Okay. Guys are different from women. Guys need tangible, right? Part of the problem, and I'm in agreement with Winky, part of the problem is that we create things and we build it, then we invite people to come in to help us make more money. Time out. If you can't invite me in the beginning when you're building it, don't invite me after you build it so that you can make more money and you're just using me to make more money. Nah, that's okay. If I can't buy in the beginning, don't make me a slave to it later. I'm just saying. That's just me. You can disagree. I know you will. 833-212-1017 is the number before I do my top 5 at 5. What? Let me check the temperature, see what's going on here. Still 66 degrees. The low tonight is 44. So make sure you bundle. You might need to start, 55 degrees. I remember when it was cold outside and it was 55 and people were walking around in jackets. Oh, it's great. Oh, I'm putting some shirts on. I don't think so. I think it is what it is. Hey, y'all. Got to say it. Got to admit it. MPD rocks.
Number 5.
From CBS 58, Milwaukee police recover a nice amount and some in a financial scheme. Milwaukee officials said yesterday $460,866 in public funds has been recovered after a fraud scheme targeted city government operations. The recovery was credited to detectives in Milwaukee Police Department's Financial Crimes Unit, working with the city comptroller's office and financial institutions. Comptroller Bill Christensen said in a statement, "This is a favorable outcome to a difficult situation for our city and a testament to the professionalism and persistence of the Milwaukee Police Department." I would specifically like to recognize Detective Chad Vertanian and Detective Tony Castro of the Financial Crimes Unit, who led the investigation. Their work not only restored critical public funds, but also reaffirmed our commitment to transparency, accountability, and public trust. I'm kind of, if that's the case, how did it get? Anyway, the fraud occurred earlier this year when criminals reportedly impersonated a legitimate city vendor and diverted a scheduled payment to a fraudulent account. Officials said the funds were traced and recovered before being released. Christensen said the city has added internal controls, no kidding, new verification steps that you probably should have had, and employee training to reduce future risks. Fraud is an evolving threat, and no organization is immune. Milwaukee police said the investigation remains open, and suspects may be overseas. Shocking. Detectives are still investigating the case. Wow. The city got schnookered. Can you say that on the radio? Schnookered? Anyway, I was reading. So you heard about all the street takeovers, right? Right? People have been crying and hollering about, we need all this stuff and we need help, but they really didn't do anything. And city leaders didn't do anything. Well, I guess now it's important.
Number 4.
Milwaukee police from WISN.com received calls for at least 15 different street takeovers. It was more like 20. Alderman Scott Spiker, who chairs the Public Safety and Health Committee, described it as ridiculous and a breach of public safety. He called for police and the city attorney's office to testify about their strategy to stop takeovers. How would you suggest doing it when you don't have people? Anyway, including how many officers are responding and how many are needed. You probably need about 100 officers. 12 News has requested staffing numbers from over the weekend. Police have not sent specific. Spiker and the Common Council are also considering new legislation to curb the reckless trend. So here's the key. Business moves forward. Technology moves forward. All these things move forward. Guess what? So does crime. So does law enforcement. And you have to move forward. We've needed a state statute or a city ordinance for decades to stop these types of things. It's the one tool that the police have in their arsenal to be able to stop things like this. But when the laws that you have, when the city ordinances that you have do not fill that gap, there's nothing you can use. Nothing. Common Council President Jose Perez pushed for legislation for a $500 fine for anybody involved in a street takeover, including spectators. How do you prove that? So you got to go back to probable cause. If I'm on the street and there's a takeover and I'm not watching it and you scoop me up, how's it my fault? Well, City Attorney Evan Goyke said the $500 fine legislation is enforceable in law and lawful. Well, let's read it. And what's it based on? Because I don't know if there's anything historical that you could base it on. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. We'll see. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman said officers are also coming from different districts to break up street takeovers where they're happening. He encourages anyone, of course, to call, but what are you going to do? And watch this. If I'm watching it and I'm on the street, am I actually going to call? Because I might get a $500 ticket. I don't know. Hey, got to tell you about two people who were sentenced, and at the time of this, two were due in court. Well, they've gone to court.
Number 3.
There was a story a while ago about Devontae Mitchell, who died at a hotel here in Milwaukee last summer. Well, they were sentenced today. However, in the story update, none were sentenced to spend time in prison. Todd Erickson and Brandon Turner pleaded guilty to felony murder earlier this year. Now, let me explain what felony murder is. If you're doing one thing and it accidentally causes the death of someone else, it's felony murder. Homicide is intentional, depending on the degree. First-degree intentional homicide is intentionally taking a human life. And then there's reckless homicide, where you have utter disregard for human life and you do something stupid like people hanging out of a car and you fall under the car and die. But then there's felony murder. I'm in the process of doing something, committing one crime, and another crime happens. David Johnson Carson and Herbert Williams, originally charged with felony murder, pleaded guilty to misdemeanor battery. Judge, it's hard to know exactly when Mr. Mitchell took his last breath, said Assistant District Attorney Dan Flaherty. Erickson's three co-defendants agreed to help the state if the case went to trial. Turner, 36, was the first of the 4 men to appear in court today, and Judge David Swanson imposed and stayed prison time, sentenced him to 12 months probation for felony murder. He said, "I want to apologize to the Mitchell family for all this confusion and all of us being here." Swanson next sentenced Williamson, 53 to 10 days in jail, time served, misdemeanor battery. Johnson Carson, 24, who was also convicted of misdemeanor battery, and Swanson sentenced him to 4 days in jail, time served. Johnson Carson said, "I do hold a deep, deep, deep sense of regret and remorse for this tragedy." Erickson, 61, pleaded guilty of felony murder in July. He was the last of the 4 men today to go before the judge, who imposed and stayed a 4-year prison sentence and sentenced him to 2 years probation. Erickson said, "I know that I should have responded differently when I recognized that there were better ways to handle the situation. To the Mitchell family, I am deeply sorry. I pray that one day you may be able to find peace and perhaps in time forgiveness." So if you don't remember, they worked at the Hyatt Regency and they were security, where Johnson Carson worked at the front desk. Williamson was a bellhop. And on June 30th of 2024, a criminal complaint says that surveillance and bystander video showed Mitchell run into the lobby that afternoon and enter a woman's bathroom, and they drug him out and a scuffle ensued, and they pinned him down for 8 or 9 minutes, and Mitchell pleaded for them to stop and complained about not being able to breathe. One of the investigators, Williamson, told investigators he put his knee on his back, adding that Mitchell was strong, he wouldn't calm down, and tried to bite Erickson. So what they should have done is call the police. But by the time police and emergency responders arrived, he stopped moving. So unfortunately and ultimately, he passed away. So it's an unfortunate thing, but that's why you always call the professionals to actually let them handle it. And in most cases, notice I didn't say all, in most cases, it'll work out. My condolences to the family of the man who passed away. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I thought they would have gotten more time, but I guess the circumstances and the discussion and comments led the judge to a different outcome. I mean, we got a lot of crime here. It was unfortunate. I believe it was accidental. So hopefully it won't ever happen again. But we've got crime in the city. And one thing I want to remind criminals of is if you stay in the car, Milwaukee police gonna catch you.
Number 2.
So Milwaukee police, there was a chase, went 8 miles. Top speed, 100 miles an hour. This from Fox 6 News. According to the criminal complaint, Milwaukee police responded to a subject with a gun on 75th just south of Green Tree on the 28th last week. The caller described a man with dreadlocks and a black semi-automatic gun with an extended magazine in the suspect's lap. The caller saw this at the gas station, described the car as an SUV. They arrived, they spotted the vehicle, and a man later identified as the defendant, Travell Walk. They activated their lights and attempted to conduct a traffic stop. Complaint says he fled from the police. Chase went 8.39 miles. During the pursuit, Walk drove recklessly up to 100 miles an hour, nearly colliding with a city bus. And at some point, the complaint says he hit a curb, front tire came off, and his car became disabled near Sherman and Garfield. He exited the car with the gun in his hand, fled on foot while holding the gun. Walk was taken into custody after a brief chase. They recovered the black firearm, and the gun had a selector switch, rendering it to be fully automatic. Investigators also searched the vehicle and located drugs and drug paraphernalia. Walk made his initial appearance on this past Sunday. Cash bond was set at what? How much? How much you think he got for cash bond? Out of all the things they talked about, how much you think he got cash bond for? $7,500. Interesting.
Number 1.
So the guy, you heard about it, and we talked about it from CBS 58, a Milwaukee man who collided with an ATV, killing 2 people. His name was Jaden Allen Zion Brown Smith. It's a lot of names. Was driving a Chevrolet Malibu without a license. Crashed into a red ATV, 28th and Concordia on the 30th. Brown Smith told prosecutors he was making deliveries for DoorDash in his brother's car when he swerved to avoid the ATV, which reportedly entered the street from an alley but could not stop in time to prevent the crash. Police say the driver of the ATV was identified as Victor Ramos, who later died at the hospital. The passenger, 36-year-old Brittany Harshman, was hospitalized but died this morning. That's according to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office. So that it would also not have appeared if the ATV was not on the road as well, which was also illegal, says Barry Phillips, the Milwaukee County Court Commissioner. So what do you do when both things are illegal? Interesting. He was charged with causing death and great bodily harm while driving without a license. In intake court this morning, Brown Smith was emotional as Phillips stated this accident could have been prevented. And as most accidents could be prevented if you simply, literally weren't there.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Your expression on your face, that's got to me. And the man wasn't lying.
What you mean the expression on my face? How can you see my face? You listening to me on the radio, man.
No, I'm watching you on YouTube, too.
Oh, all right, then. You're an old man, and you know about YouTube. How old are you, Adam? You about 85.
83.
I'll be dipped. How blessed are we to have you?
Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Make your home safer. Get rid of unused household chemicals at MMSD Home Hazmat Drop-Off. It's free to visit a collection center. Get all the info you need at MMSD.com. Milwaukee County residents only, no businesses.
Truck crash? Call Gruber Law Offices.
One call, that's all.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
On my mind, don't want to.
So I'm shaking my head no, and he thinks I'm shaking my head I'm not ready. And then it's like, yeah, my bad. I'll take the hit for that.
He put me on with this life, and since we banging, I got to get my stripes. Lay in the cut with my Bible in front of my gut. And when I jump up, you know I'm falling angel stuck. I'm back and run, and as the prisoners, I'm taking none. I'm arrested at with them, you ain't staring down the shaking gun. I'm seeing demons that was thinking from survival tripping. I rise them up in the name of Jesus, then I Bible whip them. So if you...
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I've been remiss. I haven't been hitting the talk and text line. Let me go see who's hollering at me. Let's see.
Milwaukee's realist.
That was you. That wasn't me. Where I appear in another country, what benefits would I be entitled? So, were I to appear, Reginald said, if I were to appear in another country, what benefits would I give you a title to? None. None. Mexico would tell us to go kick rocks. That one guy said, I even married a white woman for the cause. Y'all silly. Y'all silly. Al said, Trump cost the United States all kind of money. Why? Why are y'all so hush-hush about that? I forgot y'all pray, see his whiteness as the right somebody who's are uneducated. Don't understand that. I don't know about you guys, said the one guy, but as a Mexican, I'm against public benefits for undocumented. It's not right. We come here to work and produce, not leech. I work hard with my hands, blister, and bleed for my job. He said, I get so mad when we cover this topic. Al said, I feel that group of people is an easy target because they have no real protection. Does anybody that's not a citizen here have real protection other than constitutional rights so yeah. When it comes to talking about the people who have the protection, everybody got eyesight like Ray Charles. Wow. What does that have to do with anything? Trump's mother couldn't speak English. So? Interesting. Y'all get wound up. Y'all got wound up a little bit. Maybe somebody said, Laron said, Winky, then how come we as a people can't take care of ourselves? What we What have we done with what our ancestors have done? Well, some of that we're going to talk about next Thursday when we talk about the book, The Whiteness of Wealth. There are some things that have been set up that people don't understand. And now when it doesn't work, they think it doesn't work because we have a problem, when in fact it doesn't work because our cultures are different. And when culture and traditions and customs are different, what you apply won't work. When you say the traditional way is mom stays at home, takes care of the kids, dad goes and works, and we're going to attribute half of his pay at 50% of the tax rate because mom stays at home and it's not fair him paying all that tax money, then he's the one that goes out and works and makes the $100,000, $150,000 a year or whatever it is and takes home more money. We feel, on the other hand, we want to make more money and we both make $50,000. The problem is we're both taxed because we're married at a normal rate. And so when one of the spouses stays home, half of the working person's salary is attributed to them at 50% of the tax rate. So they're able to bring home more money. And that's how the law was set up in 1930. That's how it works today. And that's why you have so many white households where mom stays at home or dad stays at home and only one person works. And if you look on your tax form, it says it right there. Head of household. LaRon said they teach you financial literacy in school. I'm not talking about financial literacy. I'm talking about investment, not literacy. You need financial understanding, not literacy. So watch this. Hey, X, are you literate in English?
Yes.
That means you know how to read English. But if I give you something in English and you don't understand it, it doesn't matter whether or not you're literate. But he did learn how to read, though. He just don't understand it. You know, like when you go take a test for, say, SAT or LSAT, or a lot of the examples don't have to do with us. A lot of the examples they give are foreign to black people. Unless you what? Code switch and go from one to the other, one culture to the other, and learn both like we have to do. But nobody else really does that except us. And we become competent. We become knowledgeable, not just literate. It's good to know English, but do you understand it? Can you understand what you read and write a review of it and explain it to somebody else in layman terms? If you can't break it down, you don't understand it. And that's the problem. We give people financial literacy. We don't give people understanding. Literacy, financial literacy, I understand that we have to pay taxes. That's literacy. How, what you pay, what the policy is, that's understanding. And if we don't understand it, we'll never get over it. And those are some of the things we're going to talk about, some of the things we're going to do on next Thursday. LaRon said most people don't want to come in the beginning because that's where the most risk is. They want to enter in the initial growth stage as financial literacy. Oh, unless they want more control. Nah. Again, if you can get out of the literacy mode, because most black people are already financially literate, now they need the knowledge and the understanding and where to put their money and what investments are. But again, if you're afraid to get in at the beginning, then I don't know if you're going to be able to take the money when it comes. I'm just saying. Because I ain't giving you a dime. I'm going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, were you here in the beginning? No. Oh, well, you get nothing. And now with 101.7 The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazaga.
Cell phone
on 43. We do have some backups because of a crash right about at Fond du Lac Avenue. The right lane is blocked, so watch out for that. Delays coming down from Capitol Drive. The westbound 94, 2 left lane blocked thing with the debris and the road work. Looks like they got that all taken care of, and they have been able to reopen those lanes. Still backed up through the Marquette, but at least things are getting better. On the eastbound side of 94, you're backing up from before Highway 100 all the way through the Stadium interchange to about 35th Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly cloudy, gradual clearing, breezy, a low of 47 at the lake, 43 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, increasing clouds, and a chance for overnight showers, a high of 65. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
The biggest snowflakes out here are always been the white Republicans, who are so gung-ho on protecting the feelings of white kids while they ignore the needs of other kids. If Milwaukee's youth has a problem with fighting, well, white youth have a problem with being destructive and offensive. So it is sad that our government is actively working to de-emphasize educating and uplifting students of color in different backgrounds on college campuses. That emphasis is going to be diminished, and the only kids that will suffer will be our kids. They were willing to hold up the advancement of the state of Wisconsin because they disagree with DEI. What are white Republicans afraid of? Why are they afraid to face the fact that their grandmas and grandpapas were part of a system which purposely held black folks back and failed to give us the access that we deserve? Until these politicians stop ignoring these egregious acts of hate and racial incidents, America can never be great again.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Being a caregiver for a family member can be very rewarding. It can be very challenging, too. Besides taking a physical and emotional toll, it can also take a real financial toll, especially if you're paying for home safety upgrades, covering medical expenses, cutting back on hours at your job, or having to leave your job altogether. In some states and in certain situations, you may be eligible to get paid for the care you provide, but finding reliable information about caregiver compensation can be overwhelming and very time-consuming. The AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub can help. It's a free online tool developed with support from United Healthcare, where you can search compensation programs, explore your options, and get answers to frequently asked questions. Find out today if it's possible to be compensated for the time, effort, and care you're providing. Visit paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. After losing their first matchup against the Phillies 10-8, the Brewers look to take a win in their second game of the series.
Duran brings home the 1-0 pitch, and it's a chopper to third. Couple of hops out to Sosa. Gathers, throws to first in time, and this game is over. Phillies win it 10-8, and they take game one of this three-game series.
The Crew sits at 85-54 on the year, 5 games ahead of the Cubs in the NL Central. NFL football begins Thursday with the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Green Bay Packers begin their season against the Detroit Lions Sunday at 3:25 p.m. Badger football will face Middle Tennessee without their starting quarterback Billy Edwards Saturday at 3 p.m. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Dirty, what? Look at that girl right there. She make me say, boom, boom, yeah, ain't do what you do. I like the way you do that right.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-212-1017 is the number. Calling all black-owned business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking to share your story and grow your reach? We've teamed up with Associated Bank for our black-owned business give back. Each quarter, 4 lucky business owners will win an opportunity to highlight their brand and journey on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. So to sign up for your Black Business interview, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth for official rules. Head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. All one word. Associated Bank member FDIC. Also want to remind you about Pella Windows and Doors. When customers choose Pella, one of the most important things to them is honoring that trust and commitment. You know, a lot of customers might have apprehensions about, letting somebody to their house. But when you see the experience and the professionalism, you can trust them with bringing your project to life. Their vision is to be the company that people want to do business with. So order by the end of the month and get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. Where do you find Pella? Right there. 833-212-1017 is the number. Talking Text Line said the administration is locking them up when they go to court. How can you get documented when they drop your immigration case and then deport you? Well, Javon, because you are in court for having committed a crime or accused of being committing a crime, that by federal law says you get deported. That. You go to another country and you commit a crime, you can get deported. That's if they let you in. If their parents pay taxes, what's the problem? As I said, I have no problem with it. As long as they don't commit a crime, I have no problem. We need to figure out a way to have people be, what's the word I'm looking for? Naturalized? Sir John said, hey, Ken, are you going to spark up? And no, I'm not. Y'all funny. Donna said, great breakdown on financial literacy. Ann said, what happened to us, Dr. Ken? I would never dream of riding a bus without paying or driving without a license. What is with the shoplifting? Well, here's the thing. When you live a life, and I'm putting this off 30 years of law enforcement and being black and talking to people in the neighborhood and all that, right? When you live a life like somebody owes you something. And Laurent said comprehension is a literacy skill. It's a literacy skill. It's not literacy. Anyway, yes, I'm parsing participles. I'm dividing it because I want to make sure we understand it. You need understanding. Anyway. And he's kind of saying the same thing I'm saying, so, okay. Thank you, LaRon. You're right. Ann said, what has happened to us, Dr. Ken? Well, when you think that you're owed something or you're taking something from somebody, a lot of people don't understand that a whole bunch of people in your family pay taxes. And a lot of people in your family pay taxes that help create, like, the bus system that you ride on but don't pay, the government that issues you your driver license. And I don't know, because I've never asked. I don't know if they don't care. I don't know. Like, I don't know. My experience has been that they don't care. I'm going to do it because I'm going to do it. And so we can't say they've never been taught right from wrong or they've never, because we don't know. And we do an inordinate amount of We do an inordinate job of making sure we transfer our values to other people and then say something's wrong with them without really knowing all of the information and all of the details. We just make assumptions. We do it to people every day. It's unfortunate, but that's what we do. And it doesn't work out well because you have to actually care. Oh, by the way, there's a lead test that's free. No appointments necessary. Parents and guardians can take their children to the assigned locations and times. There's a flyer. It's free of charge. Text the keyword lead. You got that, Tori? Have people text LEAD. I put it in the texter, so all you got to do is text LEAD, lead, to 833-212-1017. It'll send you back a text with all the information you need for where to take your kid to get a free lead test. So make sure you do that, and you'll be able to take your kid and do that.
Pow!
I got a powerful from Tori. I want a copy of that. I'm gonna take it. I want to come back and take it home so I can. So on my show I can play him saying powerful. Just make me one of those powerful. But no, it's one of those things where people have been calling in and complaining, and I don't know where to take my kid. And, I'm a member of this, I'm a commissioner with the Safety and Civic Commission. And so I got that in email. And so I said, rather than figure out how to read it 29 times, just text LEAD, L-E-A-D. So I got another one? All right. You sure? You positive? All right.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Make your home safer. Get rid of unused household chemicals at MMSD Home Hazmat Drop-Off. It's free to visit a collection center. Get all the info you need at MMSD.com. Milwaukee County residents only, no businesses.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Tracy, going back to the process, and as it relates specifically to the partnership that Old National Bank has with Housing Resource, what does the process consist of when coming through this program?
It's a referral process. We work with clients that first-time homeowners that may not have the counseling that they need. They may not have the equity, the down payment that they need. So we refer them to our partners like HRI or Housing Resources, Inc., because we recognize that those organizations, they have the resources, they have the tutorial documentation and all of those things that are necessary for first-time homeowners that don't know the process, may not know the system, may not know what's required for home ownership. So working with Housing Resources, Inc. and other partnerships that we have like through WIDA has been very, very advantageous, not only for us, but also the organizations, but also for the community.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
It's been a long day. Got whooped up on by Al, whooped up on by Winky Blue, whooped up on by, what was his name? I forget his name. Jay? Was it Jay? Yeah. I'm going to go home and lick my wounds. It's hump day. I made it through. Tomorrow, Thursday. Hey, by the way, I'll be here tomorrow in 22 hours, but I'll actually be here because I'm going to be covering for Sherwin Hughes tomorrow from 9 to 12. Just so you know. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. The analysis is coming your way at 6 o'clock, and then we'll have the Tori Lowe Show and go throughout the day for the rebroadcast of the best in Milwaukee Black Talk. God bless. Take care. Hey, X, appreciate you. I'm out.
Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this.
Congratulations. Woo! God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because